What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy Enlightened Luciferian Preistcraft once again. My previous video was talking about the transference of the principal obligation, but I know that I said that I'm going to show y'all how the court system and the church are co-relative entities. Now, to some people, again, as I said before, because of the preconceived notions and the conditioning that the world has placed upon their shoulders, then I'm just here to enlighten you and inform you properly. Now, this does not constitute legal advice, nor does it constitute anything anti-government. The sole purpose is for informational and educational purposes only. Let's get that out the way. Now, the church and the courts are the same. If you generally visualize how churches are, even structure, you have the congregation who sits in the pews, and if you go over to the parallel, you have the quote unquote in the court system, how all the people who are considered defendants, who are considered presumed by presumption of law guilty, sit in the same form and fashion. Now, when you go past the bar, basically, this is where all of the grandstanding takes place. Now, if you ever been to a Catholic church, you notice that there is something, I think it's in the area called the nave, which is equivalent to navel, whatever, but still intercourse. It's whether you believe it or not. I'll get there later on the series, but stick with me. It's the same thing. Then you have what's called the celebrant, and then you have what's called the judge. They're the same thing. They both wear robes. The choir sits off to the side, such as a jury. And then you have an individual who actually gives a sermon, which is basically the celebrant or the MC. And then you have a person who actually testifies or actually gives opening statements in the trial, such as a prosecutor. People, there's no difference. It's all the same. It's just that we call it different things. Now, the only thing is that the advocate in the ecclesiastical sense in the church is quote unquote the messianic figure, why they call Jesus. And then you have to realize that the advocate in the court system is called a lawyer. Now, these entities both are supposed to what? Vindicate you of any guilt or presumed guilt. But what the church teaches in this doctrine is that you need salvation. You were born in sin. What does the law teach? You are guilty until proven innocent. What is the difference? There isn't one. You see the direct correlation? Stick with me. Now the laws are written in Latin. Now in regards to the church and their so-called procedures, but in court, all the laws are written in Latin. And these are the underlying tenets of the legalese system, and these are the underlying tenets of the church system. Now, the only individual who can either pardon a person of their sins or forgiveness of sins is called the celebrant in the church, or also known as a priest. Then the only one who can pardon a person of their social guilt is a judge. Now, most people don't take this into strict consideration because they've never been taught this. This has never been taught in the public fool systems, nor has it been even perceived by the general public just personally. But it's quite all right because as long as the system can keep you illiterate to social practices, they can stay in power and they can continue to control you. Now, since they teach you that you were born in sin, you need salvation. If you go to the Latin definition of salvation, it means salvatio, which means to salvage, which means to bring something that's lost at sea, according to maritime law, to dry land. See, if ships were actually left out in the ocean, which there's no laws in the ocean because it's maritime, but basically there's no laws governing anything. Basically, if you were a person who was a sailor and you got that ship to dry land, you got paid for the insurance of the property of the hull of that ship. In court, what's the difference? There isn't one. They basically pull you into their port. They put you on a dock-it, and then the dock-it is considered you now pulling into port to do commerce on dry land. So whoever brings a claim against you, such as a prosecutor, basically is the individual who is trying to get that insurance. Are y'all with me on this one? So I know this might go over a lot of people's head, it might cook a lot of people's noodles, but this is real talk. So on one hand, they teach you salvation. On the other hand, they teach you basically in the court system, they teach you how to basically exonerate yourself from a previous claim. Now, here's where the linchpin actually couples the train. Basically, they're basically trying to imply that you owe something or you're indebted in some sort of way. Now, going back to the ecclesiastical law, you have to realize the church built its whole structure around the control of people by making it seem like they were the only individuals who could actually impute humans or humankind of sin. And the court established itself by power of the Vatican that it could be the only entity that can elicit some form of exoneration from temporal guilt. So you have a spiritual and a temporal. These are the rules that they go by. And I think that a lot of people are under the illusion through that quote unquote, and if you're watching this around kids, please remove them, that quote unquote bullshit doctrine of anti-disestablishmentarianism. A long, nice 37-letter word that doesn't mean shit. There is no separation between church and state, because what it is churches are tax-exempt entities, IRS 501c3 entities, period. And the government, on the opposite end of the hand, the third judicial branch, the judiciary, is the one that enforces tax matters. So how is there a division? See, it's only in your mind and how you perceive this thing. But these things work in cahoots with each other. This is a fact, you know. And once people start to really get that through their head, then I think that a lot of people will solve their problems. But they want you to believe in your life that you yourself are deemed a sinner on one hand and a debtor on the opposite. But they both want to try to imply that you owe something. That is the most wicked mechanism that has worked over centuries of people who believe in this. Now, to enforce your power in the church system, to the ecclesiastical body of what we call church, and to enforce your same power in the judiciary, the temporal, secular side, is to basically tell them who you are and who you are not. Now, both of these entities are trying to place obligations on you. The church wants you to pay tithes. The court wants you to pay taxes. It's the same thing. You can call it differently if you want. It is what it is. It both requires fiat. It both requires a sense of guilt on both ends in order for you to pay in some sort of way. Church convinces you that you're imperfect. You were born a sinner. Court imposes that you basically are guilty of a claim that someone said you did something. Please, somebody dispute me on this and tell me what the difference is. However, it has been the downfall of many people. Don't care your age, don't care your race, don't care your ethnicity, don't care your country. As long as these facilities and institutions operate within your personal life, then trust me, they're banking. And yes, the definition of the bench in Latin, what we call the judge sits on, means banco, which means bank. So when you're talking to a judge, you're talking to a banker. You're not talking to a public official. You're talking to someone who's trying to impugn you with guilt in order for them to receive more money. Whenever you're talking to a priest and they say they want some tithes, a preacher man, whatever you wish to call, reverend, don't matter. They're talking about some money too. It's all a fucking scam. That's all it is. Now, I know a lot of people might be like, well, you know, I pay my tithes, you're supposed to get 10% back. That's a doctrine. That's not realistic. You know, if you're going to actually devote yourself to a cause, then you devote it to your relationship with your creator. Not some man in some fancy robes, either or on either side, to make you believe that there's a demigod to be the way for you to be saved. Get out of that mind state. Trust me. The more you delve into spirituality, the more you delve into conscientiousness about who you are, no man stands in the way between you and your creator. Straight. You know? Now, I know a lot of people, like my previous video, they might be like, well, you're speaking out against religion, whatever. No, yeah, I am. But that doesn't mean I don't believe in a higher power, higher than man's corrupt system. See, the entity, as far as the creator, supreme being, the great spirit, whatever you wish to call it, Allah, it doesn't matter. It's all referring to the same thing, just different notations. Now, me, I don't give the creator a name. I just call it the creator because I give it the divine entitlement of being the creator because it always creates. Religion made it something that can be placed inside of a construct. And the church and the court system placed it inside a construct to make you believe that they're the individuals who are the ecclesiastical or spiritual authority of this earth. That's bullshit. Why do people go to church and they always talk about he's a man of God? Well, what the fuck made this person so special where he has to turn around and he has to be the one to speak, or God told me? What? See, it's all trickery. It's all trickery. It's trickery. If you are consciously connected with your creator, you don't need no man or woman or anybody to come and talk for you or about you or pray for you. You motherfucking better go and do your own digging yourself, or else you will forever remain a sheep. But I know that some of this might fall on some deaf ears today because some people are just so stuck in their ways because that's all they've ever known. Now I know that there's some real soldiers on the side of truth that really know that these people are some scam artists, straight. And you don't need a man or any type of system to tell you what to do as long as you live correctly and true, and you're true with yourself, and you have a connection with your creator. Period. So for all you detractors who try to make it seem like I have no belief system or whatever, you're sadly mistaken. Don't be mad at me because I received the enlightenment and the truth of my creator to be free from constructs. No religious institution, no religious organization, no groups, nothing. Because that's not why I was put on this plane we call in the distinct appellate earth. Was it here to be subjugated to rules? No. All of those things are in place to control you and to keep you pliant and to keep the sheeple in line. Period. That's all it's for. Then I'll even go a little bit further. What's the number one book they give you when you go to a courtroom to swear on? Don't even need to answer that question. Why? Because the court system was instructed by the Vatican to make this the supreme testament to actually be the authoritative proof that you would tell the truth, even though the book is full of fucking lies. Why do you think lawyers lie all the time? Anyone that takes the stand has to swear, but does the prosecution have to swear? Nope. Nope. Not at all. See, it's going to take a little bit more in life for people to actually get some sort of clarity on this issue, because I know that a lot of people can't grasp it. As I said before, the principal obligation of any matter is for you to take what someone places against you and give it back to them. That is always the general matter. Stop accepting people's fictitious so-called obligations upon your life and get that shit back to them. It's funny because it's just like, you go to jail. I've been to jail. I don't have no shame in saying it. No scandal involved. I don't give a fuck. I don't have shit to hide. Been there. And some of the best people do go. First thing they give you when you get there is a fucking Bible. But let your ass try to get to the law library. Boy, you gonna catch hell. It's facts. They'll give you a Bible for free. They'll let them people come in there, preach to you, teach to you, to let you persevere through your suffering with patience. But let you try to do something for yourself in the realistic, secular sense to try to understand your situation or better inform yourself about what you got going on in your personal legal matters, you'll never make it to that law library. They revere that place like a shrine. And those people who know what I'm saying is true in the comment section, please enforce what I'm saying in the comment section. Let people know what I'm saying is true. They'll give you that all day. They'll let you practice that because they call it the freedom of religion. Little do you know, it's a coping mechanism. It's to keep you pliant. I don't know how much more it might take for people to understand the significant truth. Less than 16 minutes. I'm just a light bearer. I'm just a person that my creator has given me the ability to see through the bullshit of this structure we call society. Yes, people. These mechanisms, either secular is on this side. The church or secular are constructs to keep people in a bind. And remember, I'm going to leave on this note. Religiaire, the definition of religion, means to bind. Don't believe me? Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Test every word I say. Do your research. When you do your research, stay aware. Once you're aware, there's no going back to sleep. Peace, light, love. Agents, don't contact me whatsoever. I do not consent, nor do I oblige. People, stay woke, stay sharp. I'm out.